Hey everyone, it's Bree. I'm back with another scrapbook process video for SpiegelMom Scraps, and I am going to be using this new sequin mix that was part of the October release, and it's called My Happy Heart, and I love this sequin mix because Jody added small wooden veneer hearts as well as these like acrylic heart shapes that are also included. I believe it's pink and purple, I believe. I know there's pink for sure. Or is it blue? I think there's blue ones, like light blue ones in there. Okay, so that's the sequin mix that I'm going to be using. At first, I knew that I wanted to create another shaker. I mean, you guys are probably not surprised that I want to do another shaker. So I've had this cut file saved. This is a Paige Evans pre-cut file from her, I think it's called or it's just called Happy Scrappy Place or Scrappy Place on Facebook, and she gives away one cut file a week, and this was one, I believe, a few weeks ago, and it says love you, and these hearts were perfect for shakers. So that's what I thought of immediately, and then it happened to match this new sequin mix perfectly, because the sequin mix is called My Happy Heart, and I just thought it was perfect because it had the wood veneer hearts as well as the like little acrylic hearts. So I am backing my cut file with just one piece of pattern paper. This is pattern paper from Amy Tangerine from her Shine On collection. It was one of the papers that I had in my Hip Kit Club kit, and it's a bunch of just different like strips of designs, and it's very busy, so I thought it would be perfect to back my cut file with because I love the colors. Because we're moving into fall, and I thought it was pretty, well, kind of fallish. So I'm prepping my shakers now, and I'm adding glue to some acetate. And it does take me a little bit to cut around. Like I had to trim it around because my scissors were wanting to almost like cut the actual cut file, and I did not want to do that. I'd be heartbroken. So I was just being very careful and trimming it and making sure that I could create the barrier or the enclosure for my shaker. So I'm just going to trim it down. And I did save you from watching me try to back my cut file because it does take me probably longer than the average person to do it. I'm not sure why, but it does. So I just put on some, I forgot what I was watching. I think I was still watching I Love Lucy. And I just watched it and backed my cut file. Okay, so I've got my acetate on and glued onto my hearts. And then I'm just taking some foam, is it foam tape? Why am I not knowing what these things are? Okay, so it is foam tape, and I've doubled it up, and then I'm just trimming it down the middle to make it skinny enough to go around my heart, and also to create enough dimension so my sequins can move, especially because there are wood veneer hearts in there, and they are a lot thicker than a usual sequins. So that's why I made sure to make that I was doubling up on my foam tape. So I just trimmed it down, and then I'm going to, I took the backing off so that the tape is very flexible and I can manipulate it around the shape of my heart. So just keep that in mind. That's a nice tip is, remove the backing paper or the release paper, and you can make your foam tape be flexible to almost any shape that you need. So I just needed a little bit more, and I'm just trimming it down. I find it easier. I've got this tip from Christina Warner when she makes cards, or when she makes shakers on her cards, just to fold the tape over itself, like get a long strip and then fold it and cut it and trim it down. And it's so much easier because then it's already layered up and you don't have to worry about some of the tape being exposed. But yeah, just a tip. So I've got my foam on, and then now I'm adding bits and pieces of the sequin mix into my two shakers. So I made sure that my wood, veneer hearts are evenly distributed in each shaker, and then I'm going through and then I'm sprinkling some sequins. And I don't know what it is about my hands, but sequins always stick to my hands. I don't know if I just have static on them or what. And that's why I use a lot of the jewel picker or the crystal katana, because I cannot get the sequins to not stick to me for some reason. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have that problem, but me especially, they just will stick to the sides of my fingers. So, and I even prepped each bottom of the shaker with a powder tool just to help release some of the static and keep from sticking. All right, so I've backed the cut file, not the cut file, I'm sorry, my shaker with some, like another pattern paper from the Amy Tan Shine On collection. And my shaker is complete, and it does move, everything shakes in there, and I love it. And I'm super pleased with how it turned out. And so I wanted to go ahead and add some mixed media to my layout. And I've prepped my white cardstock, and this is Basil Marshmallow, and it's super thick. But I prepped it with some gesso, and I'm waiting for it to dry. Changing my show. And I believe I'm getting out the colors that I'm going to be using. So of course I'm going to be using some shimmers. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for my gesso to dry, I decided to prep my cut file with some foam tape. Because I had doubled up on both of the hearts, I didn't want the rest of the cut file to be uneven. So I'm doubling up on my little foam tape strips here and making sure that everything is going to sit evenly. And I despise Home Depot, and I'm sorry if there's, you know, some DIYers out there or home improvement people that love Home Depot. If I have to go there on the weekends, I'm usually there for like an hour, not by choice, I promise. But last weekend, the silver lining of the trip to Home Depot was a big roll of foam tape, so I'm all about that. So anyways, okay, so my gesso is dry, and I'm using the packaging technique and using a Shimmers Colorings in Oh Say Can You See. I wanted to pull some of the mints, or like the greens, the light greens in the Shine On collection. And so I'm just going to be spreading the color around. Now, most of the cut file is going to be covering up a lot of the mixed media. But that's why I have such a huge, like I spread it out so much, because my cut file I set it to be large. So I wanted a little bit of the mixed media to show from behind all the parts of my cut file. So that's why I'm like spreading the color everywhere. So I did the packaging technique, I'm getting the color around, and then I'm doing some splatters, and then I'm going to go in with one of the new Shimmers colors. It's another Colorings, and it's in Ahoy Matey, and it's this very deep, rich, like navy blue. It is almost black. It looks black in the bottle, but then when it comes out, it's a very, very deep blue. And this collection has a lot of navy tones. And now I got some of the Shine On pieces in my Hip Kit Club kits. It was along with Willow Lane by Crepe Paper. But I got more of the Willow Lane collection than I did the Amy Tan. So what I'm basically working with is just 2 sheets of pattern paper, and that's it. So you don't really, oh wait, no, I lie. I'm sorry. And I have like the puffy hearts, like the little separate pieces, and then the little hearts that are stickers from the Amy Tangerine collection. So, but yeah, that's just showing you like you don't really need a lot of things. Like if you don't have a whole collection, you just have a couple pattern papers and maybe one sticker set, you can totally make a whole entire page just based off of that. And obviously my cut file helps, but I'm just saying you don't need a lot. So yes, so I've spread out my Ahoy Matey color, and then I knew I needed some of that coral color as well. So I pulled a Creamies. It's from Shimmers, and it's called Grapefruit. And Creamies is one where you actually have to add water to it. So I'm using I think I did the packaging technique, and then I'm just using some splatters, doing some splatters on my page, and then kind of soaking it up to help the drying process, as well as just not to get too crazy with the color. So I'm just trying to tone it down. And then I knew I wanted more blue in the right section after I laid down my cut file. And I didn't see enough on the right side, so I went back and added a little bit more. And I know it looks messy, but right there, you can see like, okay, you know, it's coming out from around the entire cut file, so it makes sense. Now, up until this point, I honestly didn't even have a photo. I finished my mixed media and placed my cut file on there with my shakers, and I was like, well, what picture are you going to use? I had no idea. So I pulled this photo of my son. It's a smaller version. I scrapped this, I don't know, probably 3 years ago. So I'm re-scrapping it only because it's a smaller version and it fit perfectly on the cut file. I didn't want to take away from the cut file, but then I needed a photo that was small enough. And this happened to be already in black and white, and it was perfect. So that's what I used. So I've added the Shine On little puppy hearts next to my photo, and then I've added one of those thread bows from the Willow Lane collection. And sorry, I got a phone call in the middle of me adding the 2 little strips of paper on the top and the bottom. I just kind of cut into it and then ripped and tore it and then distressed it a little bit on the top and the bottom, just to add a few more pops of color. And then I've added a couple labels and then a wooden veneer exclusive piece. Wood veneer. I don't know why I keep saying wooden. Wood veneer piece from Hip Kit Club. It says Smile. And I've added a nice little heart as well and attached it with my tiny attacher. And I thought that I needed a little something up on the left, so I pulled out my tiny text stickers from Tim Holtz. And because in the photo my son is making a funny pose, and I've already talked about this photo, but he just cracks me up. So I added be you bravely, be authentic, and be your beautiful self, because he is full of spunk. He's so much fun. He's such a goofball, and I just always want him to stay that way and not to ever change. So the title was supposed to be Love You, and then I thought I would add another pop of black and extend my title to say Love You Lots, and I love how that came out, because we do say that, love you lots and lots and lots. That's our little thing that we've always said to the boys since they were little. All right, so I'm going to go in, and I think I pulled, oh yeah, this is Anchors Away, Ahoy Matey. And I added some splatters up around the page. And then, of course, I did want a little bit of gold, so I pulled out my Heidi Shine and spread that around. And off camera, I do add the location that the picture was taken, and that's it. So here is my final photo. I love how it came out. Don't forget to use my code Brianna15 to save you 15% off in the shop. Thank you so much for commenting, watching, and subscribing. Definitely check out all of the new sequin mixes for the October release. And thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!